Welcome to LaQuita's Toolbox, where we deliver relevant content in the form of tools that empower entrepreneurs to elevate personally and professionally. Good is only good until greater is envisioned. You know there's another level in you. Here we discuss the tools to get you there. Lean in as LaQuita and her guests present you with strategies and insight for unlocking your full potential to realize your boldest.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of LaQuita's Toolbox. I am your host, LaQuita Monley, and I am absolutely excited to have a very special guest in studio with me today, you guys. He is going to bless us with some information and some encouragement for military creators. So listen, get something to write with and something to write on. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast and get this information out to as many people as possible. But before we get any deeper into the show, I need to take a moment to thank our sponsors at Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith-based Christian apparel and accessory shop where we as believers can shop online for clothing and accessories that allow us to wear the message of the love of Jesus Christ. Go out to www.covenant-press.com. Again, that's www.covenant-press.com. Shop until you drop, ladies and gentlemen, but don't click off of those pop-ups too quickly because they contain some valuable discount codes. When applied at checkout, you can receive some amazing savings on your purchases with Covenant Press. Hey, Mr. Mario, how are you, sir? How are you?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. We are so excited to have you in the space today, sir. You know, a fellow podcaster, fellow creator, fellow parade deck member. Like we have some stuff to talk about today. But before I get to running my mouth too much, please take a moment to let the LaQuita's Toolbox audience know more about who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you for even creating this opportunity for me to be on your amazing show. Second of all, I brought something to write with. If y'all looking, if you're listening, you can't see it, but I also brought something to write on. So.
Was pencil and paper, pen and paper, they don't forget. We forget, but they never forget. So if you take some good copious notes, have something to go back and reflect on, then that's how we produce growth and change, right?
Absolutely. I'm telling you. So my name is Mario P. Fields, and Sergeant Major, United States Marine Corps, retired. And just a little bit about myself, grew up in Michigan, a wonderful time there before joining the Marines. Did about 26 years, some change in the Marines. During that journey, was blessed to marry my wife of now almost 29 years.
Awesome.
She's a Navy veteran. We had 2 wonderful children. Now they're 28 and 26. And so, wrapped up that 26 year chapter. Then since I've been out, I've consulted, folks in the startup companies in the nonprofit, for-profit sector, also in the public speaking industry. And of course, one of the components of that is podcasting. So that this is one of the components of the entire public speaking industry. And I just have a passion, LaQuita, like you, for helping humans around the world. That's enough about Mario P. Fields.
Well, listen, we're going to have to unpack some of all that, sir. You're a multifaceted individual. And I think that having that podcast is an amazing tool to help to bring, I don't want to say like necessarily a voice to the voiceless, but it's regular people like myself, yourself, and other podcasters who have these amazing stories to share, the great wisdom and tools to be able to help other people along the way, to help humans become better humans, right?
Yeah, I totally, agree. One thing that one of my good friends, his name is Dr. He hates when I say his name. I'm gonna say it anyway. Dr. Jerry Washington. Dr. Jerry Washington. He about 3 years ago, he said, Maury, he called me. I was on the I-5 driving towards Orange County. He said, what makes humans different from other living beings? I said, I don't know. I said, Jerry, that's a profound. I said, I'm not even going to try to answer. He goes, our ability to communicate information across generations, and it's a choice.
Yeah.
So to your point, the ability to use your talents to step into the podcasting industry and to use your platforms or a platform that can communicate information and help humans for generations is amazing.
It is. You know, there was a time where this being able to have this type of platform to be able to communicate freely with other people globally, it wasn't available to everyone. It was not available. And honestly, there was times when it was frowned upon.
Right.
To have these open and frank conversations. And I think that's a good segue into like the reason that I brought you onto the podcast, because we, within that military community, whether as the service member or as a service member / sponsor, or even as a dependent spouse or dependent child, being able to speak that freely hasn't always been something that we've been allowed to do. But now, you know, everything changes with time, right? And now,
I agree with you.
Now we're living in a time where we can do that. Talk to us or share your thoughts with us about why having military creators, and that's whether they're on active duty, reserves, National Guard, retired, whatever. Why is it important to have platforms that amplify the voices of military creators?
Yeah, and before I do that, thank you for your service. Hey, military spouse, that's tough. So again, yeah.
I never was a bumper sticker person. Even when my kids would get the bumper stickers for having good grades, I just put it on the refrigerator. But
I know, so I'm just gonna tell your listeners and viewers, military spouse, you got this.
It is. There was a bumper sticker in the PX one day, and it says the hardest job in the Army is being an Army wife. And I picked it up, and my husband was like, "You gonna put that on the car?" Absolutely. I think this was like OIF 2 or OIF 3. Like he had just come back from his second deployment, and your girl was like, "Ooh, brother, yes, I am." That tested you like nothing else. But yeah, being a spouse of a military service member, regardless of the branch, it is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So, so going back to like people who are creating content and you're on active duty or not, but it's, you have some type of connection to the armed forces of the United States of America. I can tell you from personal experience, when I started my YouTube channel in 2018, there was no strategy. I couldn't even spell YouTube. Come on. I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, I'm going on 49. I still remember when they installed cable.
Listen, I'm only maybe 2 steps behind you. Let me just about 2 steps behind you. I remember when the internet took forever to come on and it was loading and it just had like cats scratching
right
in the background. That's what it sounds like.
Right, like Billy D used to say back in the day, don't let the smooth taste fool you. People say, Mark, you're so good with social media. It was a choice. So when I was on active duty, I was at Wounded Warrior Battalion West in San Diego, Southern California, just north of San Diego. And Junior Marines, I'm not lying to you, they said, you're so motivated. They said, hell, you're motivated to get out. This is their word. They said, we ain't never seen anybody that came in motivated at 18 and more motivated than they were when they came in almost 30 years ago. I said, well, I appreciate that. Maybe it's because I'm 5'2", air quality a little different down here. I don't know.
Okay.
You sure you want me on this show?
I am positive. I need you on this show. I do.
Unarmored. And I said, and so they said, you need to capture this. Like this is you, so this ain't fake, so they were like, you need to make it, and they kept telling me what I needed to do. And I had a great relationship with them, LaQuita. And I said, y'all need to take your medication. They laughed. But bottom line is they called me out. They said, you must be scared to start a YouTube channel. And that's what sparked it. And
you're never scared. At least that's what we say. Let me say that's what I say. I don't know about you. I don't know about you so much, but that's what I say. I ain't never scared. And some people might be scared when I'm saying that.
I said it, but then I got home. I'm like, oh hell no. Man.
What'd you say? What have I gotten myself into?
Because like you said, the mentality was a rigid mentality. Senior folk leaders they weren't embracing social media. If you're on the military, you shouldn't be on social media.
Yeah.
What is a sergeant major doing? I caught hell. Sergeant major doing.
Imagine.
Oh, I was under investigation. My YouTube channel, there was anonymous allegations. He's making money off of military content. LaQuita, every time I got investigated, I was so excited. I'm probably the only sergeant major that ran into the dang room and just motivated to get interviewed by an investigating officer. I was like, how are you doing?
Let me help you with that. You were probably the only human.
When you're doing things righteous, let's get Christian, God fearing. When you're not right or wrong, that man made worse. Righteous. When you're doing things as righteous and God is behind it, I'm doing the backflip into the investigating.
It doesn't matter who get mad at it. You're just gonna be mad because it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Yes. So yes. And of course they were all unsubstantiated. I said they got to do the research. I'm not saying let me get more accurate. The one or two anonymous people who have those false beliefs, right? They don't represent the entire military. But I said they didn't do their research. And if they would have, they would have said, Mario's only got 50 subscribers. You need 1,000 to just even qualify for monetization on YouTube.
Think about maybe monetizing because you get the 1,000 subscribers, but then there's a couple of other things that need to happen to get you to the money. And then it's not even hundreds of thousands of dollars of what people might think.
No. You're just happy after 30 days of monetization that you made $1.68. And you're like, look at that. I made something.
Something. Yeah.
So, conversely to that, this is what I've learned. I had people recently, and I've been retired over 4 years now. I had people come up to me and say, I watched your videos when I was in high school. These are people that are finishing up their 4-year contract.
Okay.
So they actually have already served and they're getting out, right? And they come up to me during some workshops and said, I watched your videos when I was in high school. Our recruiter said, you can be motivated. Look at this guy.
All right.
One recently, and I mean 1 hour ago, somebody posted on Reddit, I want to join the Marines, but I'm short. Do you think I would struggle? And then someone tagged me and they said, Sergeant Major Fields, by your definition, is short. You might want to, and he was successful. And I shared my YouTube video with him. And he goes, I can do it. So there's a lot of branding opportunities and positive things. And especially, and I'm done with this, especially when we know as of right now, over 92% of companies in the United States labor market, they use social media during the hiring process. They search you. And it's a recruiting tool.
Absolutely.
Why not embrace new technology and not be so rigid?
Come on, that's a beautiful thing. Every major company has a social media account on almost every social media platform.
Yes.
Whether it's this, I remember the first time Snapchat, when they opened up their business. What can a business do with Snapchat? Well, TikTok said, I'm going to take you one higher. And we're going to do a whole lot of business things with TikTok. So,
right.
And now, obviously, the armed forces are seriously embracing social media because every branch has one.
Oh, yeah.
Every branch has one. And I don't know about you in the Marine Corps, but in the Army, every major division has one.
Yes, there's a, like you said, a marketing strategy, retention strategy. Technology, and LaQuita, is not going away.
No, it's only increasing. It's only growing. So we have to shift with the times. And that's why I believe it's so important to have military creators that have a powerful voice in these spaces. I was thinking about yourself. There's another military creator I've had the pleasure to have on. Her name is Chaplain Tammy Briggs. And I've had the pleasure of having her on my podcast a couple of times where we're talking about, her experiences as a chaplain and being a female in the United States Army, and also the stresses that come with having a military marriage and how to keep one healthy. Like there's another brother right now. I cannot believe I'm forgetting his name. He's also a chaplain, and he does phenomenal things on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and his services there at Joint Base Lewis McChord. He has those services and how he saw it grow exponentially from where it was when he got there to his skillful use of social media, bringing the service members and their families in to the chapel, not just his chapel, but just, to enjoy the services of the chapel period. So we have to have amazing creators in the space in order to help us grow in our community. But also, I know I was watching the episode with yourself and Colonel Rico. That was funny, by the way. Absolutely hilarious. That was awesome. But I agree with you. When the first time I saw his name, I said, this can't be real. But it is.
You almost think it's the whole, you think it's, all right, this is your nicknames.
Something. Can you imagine when he first came in and at the MEPS, what kind of hard time they gave this poor fella? What's his last name?
LaQuita, and I love these discussions. That episode with now retired, Colonel Rico Player, but I'm a prior drill instructor, so I can. When I saw the name, I did 3 years of Parris Island, South Carolina, and I'm like, boy, you was a recruit. Oh my gosh! but thanks for checking out that episode.
Yeah. But I really vibe with that episode because that's another part where military creators are needed. I remember going to I'm gonna forever call it ACAP, but it's not ACAP anymore. My husband joined the Army a long time ago, and he's been out now a couple of years as well. But I remember going to some of those TAP is what it's called now. Transition assistance, it's called TAP. I remember going to some of those TAP classes with him, and they were great information, but it did not prepare you for what it was. Not even just him, like we were tunnel vision and focused on what it was going to be like for him to transition. But it didn't talk about our children. We still had some children in school at the time.
Right.
It didn't talk about me. And that was weird because we came from Germany and we came back to Fort Hood. So everything is military around us. And for 24 years, I was answering questions one way, and now I have to consciously think about that the answers to those questions are no longer the same, like that transition. So that episode, we watched that episode, my husband and I, it's like, yes, these are the types of things that you need to hear, the real honest truth What is it like when senior non-commissioned officers, E7s, E8s, E9s, that will be sitting in some kind of command position where you retired out as the first sergeant or whatever, and then you have your field grade officers. We all have an idea of what it might be like for each other, but what is it really like? So that episode was really important, and we need more creators in that space.
Yeah, I agree. You know, your previous episode with Taisha, y'all mentioned the word access. You know, she was talking about years ago, you didn't have access to CBS, you know, and these big news agencies. And then with technology and then the pandemic created these opportunities with access. Well, with military content creators, and we'll throw a professional in front of that, you know, but with military folks who strategize and think through their content and create something maybe for humor, maybe their goal is whatever, no matter what the framework is, they're creating access to potential future service people, spouses, families. And that's through Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, you know, now X, right? Not Twitter anymore, but X and YouTube, you know, and I've had thousands. I mean, I have thousands of comments on my YouTube channel, but I've had so many, and I've seen so many instances where someone reached out to that military content creator to get more, do informational interviews, gain some insights. I've had spouses, I've had parents, kids that are 15. I had one that was 16, and they'll reach out to you through these platforms to go, what's your thoughts on this? Maybe I should join this. So it creates access. And to me, it improves retention. It's branding.
Absolutely.
You know, because let's just be honest. If I didn't have these social media platforms, none of these folks would have a direct access to a sergeant major in any branch of service, or
service, or even though you seem like you were the type of sergeant major that obviously had an amazing open door policy.
I did. I don't have one of those special buttons. I did.
Yeah.
But budget ain't supported yet, you know.
Hey, we're gonna clap for that. But the mentality though, even though you had, for every young Marine that was bold enough to exercise that, how many more were not, because you had that command sergeant major in front of your name?
Oh, a lot of them, you know, because, you know, I don't like honest statements, but if their experience was not a good experience for them with a sergeant major in any branch of service, you know, command master chief, NE9, then what I found is they would say they're all that way.
Yes.
So I would come into a unit and I was already fighting someone else's reputation. And then about 6 months later, they would go, Sergeant Major, you got a second? Sure. You know, I got to be honest with you. I said, well, I hope you are. You know, it took me 6 months to realize you're legit. I'm like, good gosh, because I was fighting that other.
Yeah. You were fighting the residue of the mistakes that the previous sergeant major left, in order to cultivate and show everybody, this is who I am, and you can trust me.
And didn't know it either.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it. So to be able to show that you are transparent, you know, and you're professional. I mean, they knew. They said, we know Mario has he's humor. I mean, I've always been the family comedian since I was born. I'm not going to say short because I never grew, but I've always, you know, just keep it real. Because here's the thing, and you mentioned it, LaQuita, you got to get out.
Yeah.
And especially military content creators, you got to make that brand transition.
Yes.
Where it's more important to embrace technology in the private sector. And if you go into an interview and they go, so are you an innovative thinker? I am very innovative. Okay, well, our company is on Twitter, X, our company, because you go on our landing page, like you said, LaQuita, our company is on social media. We put you in the search engine. What's your thoughts on social media? Are you on it?
How are you going to answer that question?
What do you mean, Mario, by am I on it? Oh, let me get more accurate.
Are you a frequent user?
Right.
Follower count. What type of content are you producing?
Right. And you can't, unless you was born in 1710, which we know that ain't true. You can't go, well, Mario, in 1680. What? We got bigger problems now. I need to put you on. We need to stop this interview. We need to make some money off of this one.
Yes, we need to have further discussion. To send you in a different direction. Yes.
You a thumbnail. 1650.
Like
I'm about to quit everything I'm doing.
I need to ask you a few more questions. I got my pencil and my paper. So
right.
You ready?
In the first show we going on is LaQuita's podcast for tools for entrepreneurs, business folks, because we're going to blow her show up too. And then she's going to be on the Breakfast Club. We're going to
listen, come on through. Come on through. I am ready. Like, I am so ready, but you're right. It's a tool. It's a tool that all of us, whether you're military related in some way, you're in that military community in some way, or even if you're not, embrace it, learn how to use it properly, right? Like if you're still on active duty, reserves or any of that, or you're government contractor, and so you still kind of got to follow the rules, you still need to use it, but learn how to use it responsibly, because it was something that no, I wasn't talking about it with Taisha, but you've said it several times today. I was talking about it with Zandra Evans. When we're transitioning over into the for real, true private sector, you become a personal brand. You're a personal brand already. I don't care whether you have a business or not. Your social media automatically makes you a personal brand. And you've said that so many times. What do you want that personal brand to look like? Because as in the discussion you and Shelly had, that personal brand is going to transition over into your professional brand. Your personal brand will transition into your professional brand, and it can open or close some doors.
Yes. Yeah. And LaQuita, and people go, well, I don't have a digital footprint. I'm sorry, like you said, you still have a personal brand. When I put you in a search engine, whoever Jimmy Jones Jacks is, that's you.
That's you.
So it's a choice. So in 2023, if you go, I'm good, okay, that's your belief. And then when I put you in the search engine, whatever comes up, that is you, and that's your brand in the digital space.
And so we want to control that.
Yes.
We want to control that narrative as much as we can. And the only way that we can do that is by creating positive content that's motivational, inspiring, that paints a realistic picture of who you are.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to paint a realistic picture of who you are.
And LaQuita, I love how you said too, doing things intentionally, making sure you're creating content that supports the mission and goal of the military branch of service. I've seen some people, I'm like, okay, your goal is humor, but are you going after followers, subscribers, and likes? Because that's complex now. I mean, that's a man-made metric.
Yeah, it is.
And so if you believe that, I created this content and I got 1.2 million views, good for you. How do you feel? Does it feel great? It feels good, doesn't it? What does that mean? What does that mean? And how is that supporting the mission of the organization?
There you go.
So developing and then network, and then using your network. There's people like you, like myself, we that have driven down that road, right? That have those experiences. Reach out. Just go, you know what? LaQuita's been doing it since 2021. Matter of fact, did you know that on Apple Podcasts, there's about 2.5 million podcasts.
Lots of them.
And only about 450,000 is active.
Yep.
So reach out to folks and go, not only are you doing it, you're still doing it. Give me some tips.
Yes.
Where did you fail? Mario, how did you get so happy to get investigated? Who gets happy?
I told you had to be the only human. To be the only human.
Multiple times. So the military content creators, military spouses, anyone affiliated with the military, Department of Defense contractors, if you're still trying to wonder, use your network. Don't try to, like you said, don't try to develop your brand on your own. You know, use some folks who today you see they're successful. And last thing on that one, 5 years ago, if you put Mario in any search engine, guess what was the first things that came up before you can stop typing? Mario, brothers,
yeah,
and Luigi.
And LaQuita's
doesn't pay them short. So everybody like, oh yeah, that's fitting, that's relevant. But now, if you type any search engine, you start to type in Mario P. Sometimes I don't even let you finish. And the search engine optimization, I laid that strategy down to develop that digital footprint, improve my personal brand on all social media platforms. Now Mario Brothers don't come up.
Mario P. Fields comes up.
Yeah.
And what you just said, I hope you guys were taking copious notes right there with those tips that he just laid down about how to develop that strategy. You have to have it. But you know what? If you didn't write it down, it's okay. It's a podcast. So hit the replay button.
Right.
Hit that replay button. Go back, pause it, take a couple of notes, pause it, take a couple of more notes, because he really just gave you the keys to success. Not just in the podcasting industry, not just in the creator space, but literally that is the key to success in business. You've got to develop your digital footprint, but first you got to know why you're doing it. First step first, why am I doing this? What is the goal in mind? What the content that I'm creating, am I creating it just for the likes? Am I creating with the hope of future conversions into dollars? I hope that's why we're doing it. Am I creating it for visibility? Because me being visible doesn't mean that I'm getting likes. And I think a lot of creators don't understand that. Me being visible does not mean that I have 1 million likes. I may have had 2 million views, but I may have only had 50 likes. So what's the goal when you're creating it? Create a metric, create a goal. What's the KPI here?
Right.
That includes your strategy, and you have to just work those tools the way that Mario has laid them out for you to work them, and you will see success. And it's not instant. It's not microwave. I mean, I'm not saying, it can't be an overnight success. Those things do happen sometimes, but more often than not, you have to have a process. You have to have a process that you're willing to walk through, excuse me, and see it through to the end till you reach your goal, till you reach that intended goal. And that's whether you're a military creator or if you're not a military creator. One of the things when you said, did I do it just for comedy and get the likes? Don't get on bashing. I mean, who needs that? The negative is going to be the negative always. And you'll probably get a whole lot of views and a whole lot of likes and get in a whole lot of trouble if you do that.
And it's your choice too. It
is your choice. Nobody's taking away your freedom of anything.
Mm-mm.
You do the consequences to that decision. It didn't matter if you didn't like the consequences. It don't matter if you think the consequences are unfair. And so before you do it, one key thing that Mario has said, get a mentor in this space. Get a mentor in this space so you can avoid all of that and still get your points across.
Yeah. And the parade deck, come on. Now there's a platform where there's like-minded people, shared experiences. You have a stable if you're in the military or you're kind of associated with the military, whatever form or fashion, now you have a place you can go and reach out. We're not going to do a contract and charge you a retaining fee that you don't get back.
That you don't get back. Even if you say it don't help me. Like, that's another conversation for another day.
Right. That's episode. That's a sequel. So, and then YouTube, 5 years ago, LaQuita, I was like, man, I'm actually a YouTuber. Wow. Okay, Mario. What's next? I was like, well, let me reach out to my network to get some tips. There was no one. Even my daughter, who at the time was 23, 5 years ago, I was like, well, some of her friends got to be YouTubers. I reached out to her. I said, hey, connect me to some of your friends. She's like, Dad, I have no friends. And then when it got monetized, that world shrunk even smaller.
Yeah.
But now in 2023, us military content creators, all branches of services, spouse, whatever. Now you can go right to paradedeck.com. Like you said, LaQuita, download the audio, replay it, take some notes. And you can email folks like me, like LaQuita and other folks, and connect and go, what is a thumbnail? What have you learned about this? What are your nonverbals, Mario? You're animated. There's a reason. One, I am animated, but I'm communicating.
Yes. Yes. Parade Deck is such an awesome space for military and those connected to the military community, for creators to meet. And it's a family. It is what it is. It's a community.
Right.
With the sole purpose of helping one another grow and achieve their goals, whatever those business goals might be. If you're new to the podcasting industry and I want to start podcasting, or if you're a speaker and a coach, or whatever it is you want to be, the Parade Deck has something there for you. But the most important thing that the Parade Deck has is the community of other like-minded individuals that thrive off of sharing their wisdom. And I say that they thrive off of sharing their wisdom, because that's important. That's how you're going to grow, when you are with people who are excited to help you grow. And that's what you get there. At least that's what has been my experience. Like, I was introduced to Parade Deck by Enrique, and that brother bleeds helping people.
Yes.
He does. He does. And that was my introduction to the Parade Deck community, and I've loved my experience thus far.
Yeah, just listen to your intro music. I listened to your intro on your podcast like 5 times. I'm like, that's right. Let me go back and listen. I didn't even get to the, again, just creating this community where you can learn and thrive. And I'm like, let me go back outside, take out the trash, put my AirPods in. Just learning little things, going, man, that intro, man. Come on, LaQuita. You're learning from people going.
Yeah. we have to learn. Like, every time I jump in the conversation with Shelly just blows my mind. I told Shelly, I'm gonna have to come to Atlanta. We're going to have to go out to dinner a few times. I need some pencil and paper when I talk to you. But
yeah, Shelly
space, yeah.
If I could describe Shelly, it's like, so you have people in a plane that's at 37,000 feet, and the seatbelt signs come off because that's cruising speed. Mm-hmm. But that's JV for Shelly. Yeah. Then you have the space shuttle, where there's a lot of things that needs to happen before we get these humans into space. That is disrespectful for Shelly. Then you have the unknown. Mm-hmm. Now that's where Shelly resides. Yeah,
that's where Shelly resides.
In her energy, her focus. And Shelly, I hope you watch and listen to this one. If you ever have a bad day, don't call Mario P. Field. Mario's a motivator. Mm-mm. Shelly Jeff Coat.
Yep. Call Shelly Jeff Coat. Call her, send her a text, a DM, and I guarantee you it's going to come through. And whatever you thought was the problem, it will be insignificant by the end of your conversation.
Shelly's so motivated and so ground. You'll get off with Shelly and get a mirror and look in the mirror and look in yourself and be like, I actually can go try out for the Lakers center position. Mario, yeah, you can. Shelly have you doing, which is good. Shelly will have you pushing yourself past your own perceived limits. And that's what I love about Shelly Jeffcoat.
Yes. She makes you want to go after and to achieve your fullest potential. And, join the parade deck community. I'm going to just say that. Join the parade deck community. If you are military sponsor or the family member of a military member, consider joining the parade deck. It is an amazing community of like-minded creators that will definitely help you grow. Well, listen, Mario, I don't know, I could keep talking because I talk a lot, but I know I want to respect your time because I need you to come back again so we can have another conversation. But before we wrap up, before we close out, is there maybe one or two other things that you'd like to leave with the LaQuita's Toolbox audience? And make sure one of them is your contact information.
Yeah, so I'll leave my contact information. Again, you guys can go on paradedeck.com, or you can put my name in the search engine, Mario P. Fields, Parade Deck, or Sergeant Major Mario P. Fields, Parade Deck. And the key thing about my landing page on Parade Deck is it has everything, all access to all of my social media. So let's say if you say, hey, you know what? I'm really not an Instagram type person, but I'm a TikTok, then get on TikTok and laugh because some funny stuff on there or whatever you want to, you're a YouTuber or just audio, but it has everything on paradedeck.com, and that's Sergeant Major Retired Mario P. Fields. So that's enough. And it has the podcast, an Armor Talk podcast. So that's number one. We're done with that. Is that good, LaQuita? We're done with that.
Perfect.
We're done with that little stuff. The next thing, the last thing, if I can leave a tip with anyone out there, and we'll keep it relevant to content creation, is research, and don't allow your emotions to become a barrier. Emotions are natural; let them flow. It's natural for us to develop belief systems about platforms, either Instagram, Twitter, whatever, X or whatever. But research and build that clarity. And then leverage your networks to build strategies. Because one last thing, did you know, and this is for listeners and viewers, YouTube is right now, YouTube reaches 30% of the world's population. So the last time I did research, it was about 8.5 billion humans. You're talking about a marketing strategy for B2B businesses or personal branding or product placement. YouTube, 30% of the world's population, where you can influence worldwide from a camera. That's all I have, LaQuita.
Wow, that's amazing in and of itself. 30% of a global audience, where we as everyday individuals have the power. We've been empowered with a tool.
Yes.
Influence people on a global scale. Yeah. Get out there and create, people. Get out there and create some great content and get it on your favorite platform of choice and begin to land positive impact in the lives of others. Look, y'all, this has been another amazing episode of LaQuita's Toolbox. I am your host, LaQuita Monley. Our great guest today, Mr. Mario P. Fields. Thank you so much for your yes and for coming on and blessing us with some amazing tools on today's episode. Look, y'all, if you like the episode, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. But most importantly, if you did not like, I want to hear from you. Get in the comments. I still want you to like, share, and subscribe it, even if you didn't like it. Get in the comments. Let me know why you didn't like it and what you feel like I need to do to improve it, because the goal is to bring you content and tools that can help you grow both personally and professionally. Until next time, I'm your host, LaQuita Monley. You guys be blessed, and have an amazing rest of your day. Take care and God bless you.